All right, so we talked a bunch about the logic of how Basic Bob sees moves. We've looked through how he builds a hand. We've watched him play a game. We've watched him analyze games of others. And now I want to focus on kind of the other thing to his game besides the logic, which is his ability to calculate three move positions. And this is just going to be a video where we just practice calculating three move positions. So we want to develop the skill that from move 7 on, with 3 squares empty, we can pretty reliably calculate out to the ends of the game. Now, Basic Bob's style tends to lead to more simplified positions. He's not playing really complex combo setting up moves. So we don't need to focus, if we're reaching for Basic Bob level play, the most complicated of positions with 3 moves left. There are certainly positions I don't think a Basic Bob would get exactly right. But in each of these videos, we're going to do 5 puzzles, and I want you to write down your answers to each puzzle, and then at the end, I'll give what the actual answers are, and you can look and see how you scored. And the first video is going to be a bit easier. It's going to be, the kinds of positions Basic Bob would get more, and we're going to get into harder ones that Basic Bob would be unlikely to end up in, but are, worth testing yourself on. So each is going to have 5 puzzles. The first, I think, is going to be entirely puzzles where there is an empty line at the end. So for instance, if there were cards in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then the row at the bottom of 7, 8, 9 would be empty. We'll be looking at positions like that and calculating those. So here is the first position. I will always tell you who is to move. I think all examples are with them to win. So blue trails 6-4 here. Can you find the win? Pause, give yourself, say, up to 5 minutes. And try to find a win for blue. I think 5 minutes is a good cutoff, both because it's a reasonable amount of time, you won't spend too long, but also because most games were played at the tournament level were played 5 or 7 minutes per move. So making sure you can do the 3 move calculations in 5 minutes, I think is a good line to set. Casual games were more often 3 minutes and occasionally 2. So it'd be awesome if you could solve these all in 3 or 2 minutes. But if you can do them in 5, that's certainly good enough to be getting it every time right in a tournament. So, okay, pause. And when you're ready, I will advance to the next one. So this one I need no notes on the left because I did the graphics properly. As it says, red to move and win. Red leads 6-4. It says what the rules are. Always assume that same plus wall and combo are on, and same wall if the level is relevant, which it isn't here, but I listed it anyway. Anyway, you can pause and solve this one. All right, last chance to pause. Here's a third problem. Looks incredibly similar to the last one, but the win is a bit different. So pause. Last chance to pause and solve. This is a lower level example, but it says go Chrono Trigger because this was from a battle of the decks between Chrono Trigger and Dragonlance, because that was requested as the most fun looking sprites. Pause, of course. Last chance to pause. Probably shouldn't have written the solution on the left. That might have been a mistake. So I could re-record this video like a competent person, but instead I guess I'll ask you to look at the position and justify why that move wins and others don't. And then you get full credit for having gotten the move, whether you would have spotted it or not. But I hope you would have spotted it. All right, last chance to pause. Here are the answers. In the first one, and I hope you were writing them down because then you can check more easily without having to rewind because I'm not going to go back to them. 6-8, 1-8, and either 3 or 7 win. I think 7's the more straightforward choice, but style points if you found 6-8, 1-8, and 3. In the second one, the answer is 2-7, 7-3, and 7. In the third, it is 7-5, 5-3, and 4. In the fourth, it is 3-2, 3-6, and 1. And in the last one, it is, as I mistakenly listed, 6-8, 7-5, and 1. And 3. Right? Yeah. Okay, so results. If you got 5 out of 5, great job, A+, move on to the next one. We'll make it a little harder, but, excellent job. If you got 4 out of 5, I think that's solid. That is good enough. But this was the easiest of the 3 videos, and you will have to focus more to maintain 4 out of 5s in future ones. But 4 out of 5 is good enough. 3 out of 5 is, probably calculation is something to work on in your game. And that's good to know. Like, I would love to if it had indicated, like, you suck at this, or you need work on this, and gotten to work on that. Because it was very hard to identify where you were weak at Triple Triad. You'd lose to better players, you'd beat worse players, and you'd have a sense of where worse players were making mistakes, and better players would find some moves that you didn't really have the heuristics or ideas to find because, there weren't really, like, lectures or explanations on offer easily. And so you had to really figure out a lot on your own, I think, mostly, which was cool. But it would have been nice to have been told where one's weaknesses were. So if you got 2, it's definitely calculation is a relative weakness. And if you got 0 or 1, then I think the problem is that maybe combo is not yet making sense for you, or maybe you're missing pluses or stuff, and just got to work on understanding how the rules work, which is fine. Everyone needs to spend a little while understanding how the rules work. When I played FF8 Triple Triad originally, and the rules came on, it just felt like the computer was cheating. I had no idea why stuff was happening, and it was only when I started playing against other people that I got used to how they worked, trial by fire. So if you get 0 or 1, I think you got to work on the core rules. Maybe that's the case if you got 2 out of 5 as well, though I suspect they're more likely that just calculating it out is a weakness. 3, similar to 2, but I think you're doing well enough to scrape by, but should probably work on calculation. And 4 or 5, good showing. Move on to the next video happily. Oops, and that's for my next video, so I will stop there.